Hello, everyone. Welcome to our June 2025 Style Chat. We have a wonderful guest with us today. Her name is Melissa Baker, and she is the founder of Chic Chemistry which we will learn about in the next 20 minutes or so. But I wanted to introduce you to her and tell you how I met her. I actually met her at one of the Modern Day Wife events. I know you've heard me talk about these events in the past, but they are very luxurious, over the top, amazing events where we meet very talented, diverse business women from all different fields. And so I was fortunate enough to be on the same panel with Melissa, where we were answering questions to the audience, for the audience. And as soon as she started speaking and just her overall ambience, it was very inspiring and motivating. And I'm so honored to have her as one of our guests today. So, Melissa, how are you today?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Me too. I'm excited. So I want you to tell us, tell us about, because she has a very impressive resume. Her entrepreneurial journey, she's accomplished so much already before she came to Chic Chemistry. And, what led you to tell us about your journey to Chic Chemistry.
Mm.
Although I do believe that our experiences in the past make us shape us into the wonderful CEOs that we are, that you are today. So
Wow.
the
Thank
wonderful
you.
founder that you are. So tell us about your journey to Chic Chemistry
Yeah.
before you got here.
It's I I think it's something I would have never necessarily dreamed of. It was a tiny little dream, I think, as a girl. I uh grew up on the farm, which
Wow,
when I tell people that, most go, wow, I would never think that,
never.
which I really now embrace as part of my story. I used to be like, oh gosh, I'm not going to tell anyone. But now it's really a wonderful juxtaposition of how I grew up. But I really think that that is what gave me my fortitude and my perseverance in growing up in that kind of a lifestyle, and has kept me grounded, because as soon as I was 18, I left the farm in Florida, which was a working farm, a working cattle and dairy farm, etc. And I like had eyes for the bright lights in big city of Los Angeles and Hollywood, and not to be an actor or actress as most people do, but I just wanted that big city life. I just had that knowing, um, and little did I realize until recently, I've always been in beauty. I started out as an Avon lady when I was 18, and before I came to California. So I guess it's always been sort of in my blood. And when I came to LA, that was my first job. I had a month's paid rent. I had a one-way ticket, and that was it. And I had to make life happen. And clearly I thought I could at 18. So I thought I knew it all, right? As we do. And somehow I did. And I fell into finding this, part-time job working behind the clinic counter. And that wasn't what I was going to school for. I was going to be a buyer, a fashion buyer, and I was going to do, that was the big thing then. Cause having a career in cosmetics wasn't a thing. You were a counter girl, and that was wonderful, but you didn't have big careers in corporate beauty, so to
Mhm.
speak. And that happened for me. I found, amazing women that saw something in me, and men, by the way. I had amazing men and women, on mentors
Mhm.
that saw something in me, and I turned that into a 30 some odd career, working for some, I'd say, really cool brands. I'm very lucky that I worked for some of the biggest and best and coolest indie brands, that there are. I can name drop a few,
Yes, for
I
sure.
uh, for Estee Lauder back in the 80s, and Mr. Lauder has just passed away,
Oh,
um, who just I think a week ago, and he was I had the opportunity in my 20s as someone who was running a multi-million dollar counter in the Los Angeles area to meet this man and talk to this man. And when I reflect on that, I was just like, wow, like
wow.
who gets to do that? Um,
Exactly. Yeah.
and as I reflect on that journey, I worked for amazing founders. His mother, Estee Lauder, founded that company. I didn't get to meet her, but I felt like I did through notes that she would send us as high achievers, things that I won, trips that I got to go on. I also worked for Sephora corporately, and I was one of the first few to pave the way and be on the team for Sephora inside JC Penney, which is no longer now, but at the time, nobody was doing anything.
Mhm.
Brands were not partnering. Two big corporate giants were not partnering like that. So
Mhm.
I was part of building that.
Mhm.
Um, I worked for Wendy Zomner, who's the founder of Urban Decay, and now she does Cali Ray. I worked for Jared and Jeremy, who were founders of Too Faced and now have Polite Society. I worked for Ali Webb, who founded Dry Bar, is now founding lots of other things. So, um, when I reflect on that, I I work for people that had their own business. And just this morning, when I was thinking about chatting with you, my mother was an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
which I didn't put together till this morning.
Wow.
And so I saw that growing up. And my nephew, who's only 25, is a founder of a major drink brand now.
Oh, wow.
Like, wow, right? So now I have that to keep up with.
Right.
So I guess it's been in my DNA
Well,
to and
Well, I
space.
love within the field of beauty and fashion, you've played such diverse roles. I read that you're a makeup artist
I
as well.
am. Yes.
That you're an adjunct professor, and that
Yes,
you teach at FITM, I don't know if you still teach, but you have taught
I have.
beauty marketing, and you were nominated as an outstanding faculty member. I mean, what a resume! That's that's
Thank
great.
you.
I mean,
Thank
but
you.
that all these, this kind of multifaceted experience is what shaped you today, and I am assuming it has given you the experience and the confidence and the know-how how to move forward and proceed with chic chemistry. Yeah.
Yes, and I would say for, those that are watching or listening or um, going to watch this, um, it's taken a while to step into that.
Hmm.
I don't know about you, but I'm going into Melissa 6.0 this year, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
Like
yes.
I'm gonna be 60 in
Wow.
few weeks.
Look at
And
you. Amazing.
every decade, you know, has built more of my own personal confidence. The beauty industry is not always play nice.
No.
I'm sure no industry is, right? And not always kind, especially to women. And I've always been that supporter of the underdog, the supporter of women. And also, under all this, I've always wanted women to feel great, to feel who they are. And whether that comes through the confidence in makeup or fashion and whatever that level is. I am a little over the top and people call me fancy and all of that, which is very opposite of, for instance, like my sister. If I showed you pictures, I just saw her this past weekend for my siblings got together and surprised my dad for Father's Day. And she has her version of confidence in beauty, and I love it. And she's younger than me, and she's got this beautiful silver long hair, completely opposite of me. Um, but it's about finding you
Right.
and loving who you are, whether it's a little makeup, a lot of makeup, no makeup, lots of fashion, no fashion, whatever it is. And I think that's what both you and I do together in our respective worlds that comes together. And that's really important to me. And it's become more important to me every single decade, for women stepping in and finding their confidence and their wisdom in whatever they're doing. And that's under all of this, what I want to inspire women to do. And in particular, fragrance can do that because it's part of the olfactory system and what we literally breathe in. It can shapeshift your mood.
Right.
And sometimes maybe even more than clothing. Like, even if you don't feel like, doing your hair, your makeup, or putting on, fashion, just spraying something on can shift your outlook for the day.
Exactly. That just fashion is more style is more than just
Yes.
about what we're wearing, what makeup we have on, it's an entire aura that we create. And
Yes.
part of that aura is how we smell and how we our
Yes.
fragrance, what we exude to others. So tell us what led you to Chic Chemistry and why are you passionate about? Wait, sounds like I understand why you're passionate about it, but maybe you could dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Um, it's again, another, I guess, interesting way that sometimes I think you can't craft and strategize how you get where you are. And I'm someone that loves that. I know there's a lot of people. Actually, I was talking to someone this week. We were talking about being very she was being very strategic, and I love that, for someone, but I don't always operate that way. I'm learned to just kind of be grounded in the feeling and connected to what I'm connected, and kind of strategize, but I let it flow a whole lot. And my best friend and I, Grace, were talking about, having alternate streams of income. And, have had 4 decades of a career. And I'm like, I'm really tired of working as much as it's been wonderful. Like, I'm tired of working for the other person. I've built companies, I've helped them build their multi-million dollar companies. And people have always said, my mother, rest in peace, is always, I can see you with a makeup line. And I thought about it. I was like, gosh, there's so many makeup lines, even today. I mean, that would have been wonderful 20 or 30 years ago. And I just didn't have the confidence then to do it. So my friend and I were like tossing around ideas and, kind of talking about things, and nothing ever really fit. And we were never passionate enough to like move something forward. And literally, one day we were out just doing something for fun. And I was at a very low point, in my life and in my career, because I had been laid off once again, my late 50s. I was scared. I was like, wow, that, like, I can't believe this again. What am I going to do? Kind of in a dark mental space, and said, let's just go do something for fun and get out of this. And we passed by this place that had essential oils and had one of those diffusers on the outside, and didn't think anything of it. And we went in there, and he had some fragrances that were inspired by. And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. Now, mind you, my friend and I come from luxury beauty and come from these brands and having teams or working for the big corporate companies that strategize and sell $500 bottles, $500 creams of fragrances and moisturizers and things like that. So I was like, really, is this stuff going to smell like whatever is on the label of this bottle? And we bought a couple of things and went home, or went to dinner. We went to dinner. And I pulled one out to actually like really smell it. And it was something that I wore back in the 80s, actually. It was Gucci Rush. And that was my favorite at the time. And I smelled it and it took me back, and there were memories, right? That just flooded. And I put it away and we continued with dinner. And it hit me like I saw it like a year later, like to today. I saw all of it. And it was like a movie. And I clapped my hands and I was like, that's it. It's that movie. It's that movie moment. And everybody like kind of stopped, and she looked at me and she was like, oh my God, what is happening? And I just said, that's it. That's it. Fragrance. That's the business. That's the business. Because what I had been thinking through and reading in the media, because I stay connected through a lot of industry magazines, is that not only was fragrance hot, but I always felt like there has to be something in between the $20 dupe that doesn't really smell like the real thing and the $500 bottle that I'm promoting and selling in some way. Like where's the middle ground, right? We've lost so much middle ground, and I'm very fortunate in my career. I get most of those $500 fragrances as part of my work, right? It's called gratis. So I have a lot of those that I haven't had to spend my money. I put blood, sweat, and tears, and I've worked for that, but I haven't had to put down my money for that. But I know people spend their hard earned money very often on that. And so I was just really thoughtful about that and said, there has to be this way to deliver the aspiration of having that and having that feeling of luxury and delivering it in the packaging and the unboxing and feeling and smelling that way. And that's what Chic Chemistry has set out to do.
Mhm.
So that's how that really came to be. And I have been up ever since that moment. My brain is never not on. How do we do that?
Mhm.
How do we best that? How do we get better? And how do we deliver that? And do people love what they're receiving from us?
Excellent. Wow,
Yeah,
what a
thank
great
you.
Story.
Including
Yeah.
you,
Yeah. Yeah,
including
I'm going
you
to
as one
talk
of my
about my
clients.
experience
Oh,
in a little.
wonderful.
Yeah. So what is Chic Chemistry, and what are the products that you sell, and how do you choose the scents that you create? Because I know you only have a very limited number of scents that you have worked on. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, we do men's and women's fragrances. We have a bigger catalog right now of women's fragrances because obviously we knew that would probably take off first. And we're very clearly, as you said, we only have 10 right now. We're very selective. We didn't want to just launch all these fragrances because, right, we want to take our learnings from what we know. Um, One being directly on the floor, as it's called, right, in the cosmetics beauty industry, and working with clients directly all of our career, no matter where I've been, even in corporate. It was always very important to me to be in the field, on the floor, listening and learning from clients, because that's how I did my job, whether I was in marketing or as a director of learning and development. That's how I developed my programs corporately, by being out there and learning from clients and learning from the beauty advisors that are on the floor, right? Um, so one, it's taking those learnings and listening to what were clients complaining about when we were on the floor, and how do we, make that right or improve whatever those were. Um, and then doing, as I mentioned, industry research. So looking at what are the trends. We also decided we didn't necessarily want to be trendy, but we need for certain clients to have what's available and on trend. Um, and then, taking a look at like, what do we like a little bit? You have to be careful with that because your client base, as you build your brand, this, um, may not be what you like. And so you do have to decide, I believe, as someone who's building a brand, is your brand completely embodied by you? Is that what you're putting in the world? Or are you building something different? And if you are building something different, then you have to be very careful that it's not always, oh, I like that,
Hmm.
because then you're not serving your client.
Mm.
Right? And so that's where things can go awry. So our recipe is a little bit of everything, and then we have to make the tough decisions, right? Like what comes into the collection. And so then we do that. We go through that process, and we have other people give us their opinions. Um, and that's how we choose what comes into the collection. We've already had, in our first year, we've had to put some of what we chose the first time and say thank you for being with us and retire them.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that we do, if someone, I just had someone ask me if we have something inspired by product candy, and that she loves the product candy and doesn't want to pay that price. And that's something that I can access, and that's a special order. And so we just have
Oh,
a
wow. So you can
separate
make
charge,
special.
separate order, special order.
Wow. Well,
Yeah. So we
yes,
can do that.
I can confirm and validate that for me, I love number 540. And I
Yes.
actually, there's something different about the formula that you make, because it almost seems like an oil alert, like it's a little bit of an oil based. And so it actually lasts longer than the expensive counterpart. And I actually like it more. My husband loves it on me. And yeah, for me, I don't know. It's so nice on me, and I love it. And I'm being judicious with it, even though I don't have to be.
Yeah.
I just want you to know you do have a customer for life here. So
Thank you. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
That I'll
yeah,
tell you, Mr. Leonard Lauder and Estee Lauder herself used to say that exact thing. Like, our goal is to create customers for life.
yeah.
So the fact that just brought this whole conversation full circle, it gave me goosebumps, because as a young beauty advisor,
Yeah.
that's what it was all about. That was ingrained in me. So thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. That's
So
wonderful.
the way I got to try it is because at one of the Modern Day Wife events, and I think another event, you had given out samples, and I got
Yes.
to, kind of smell each one and like, oh, this is my, I realized that
I love
540 was
it.
my scent. And it was so great because I got to know you, and I reached out to you, and I was like, how do I get this? I'm like
Yes.
looking for the website, I'm looking for and you were so kind because you came and you delivered it, you hand delivered it to me, which was such an honor, by the way. But, I'm sure that our audience is listening and are just probably dying to get their hands on it now.
I hope
So,
so.
yeah, so tell us how, they'd be able to kind of purchase, first of all, the packaging and how they'd able to purchase it. So,
Yeah.
and I can even pull up some images as well. So,
Yeah, we'll do that. Wonderful. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. I do want to mention, to your point, that they are 80% oil.
oh, okay.
They are 80% oil, which is why it's longer lasting. They are inspired by fragrances. And I will say, we have a vendor. I mean, he is the best of the best of the best. And I would not be doing this. Anybody can tell you. I am a person of, I deliver excellence. And that is what I set out to do with my partner. And I said, I'll accept nothing less. If we're not going to deliver this, I'm not interested in delivering this at all. And he has the best. As a matter of fact, there was one or two that we wanted to bring in, and it just wasn't on par, because we do compare it to the original. And if it's not on par, like, we just can't do it. Um, so it is 80% oil. So you get that hydration.
Mhm.
You also get, depending on how much you put on, you can get that gloss,
Yes.
if you like that,
I haven't,
especially on your
I don't know if you could
décolleté.
tell I have that little gloss on now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. You have long hair. So women, you can put it in your ends.
uh-huh.
And I'll say, for the men's fragrances, a lot of men will mix a spray with like their hair gel or their
Oh,
hair goop
wow.
or whatever, and put it in their hair. Like, guys love it.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah. So there's some nourishing, there's some great skin benefits as well as the long lasting effect.
I love it.
So you can find us on Instagram at Chic Chemistry
Yeah.
Scents, SESCENTS. And we do have a retail partner, which you'll see in a second, called Innovate the Label. They are our first retail partner, and they have been amazing. I have met her on a webinar. Again, as you know, I just kind of jump in and say, hey, how I'd like to meet you. I mean, that's how you and I met. And I met Helen Mantilla of Innovate the Label. She's based in Miami, and she is also an entrepreneur who has worked for um, some major brands out there. And we connected, and I was a customer of hers. She does some great products out there for her brand. And she said, hey, I'd love to have your product as part of my retail. So here we are. And then you can also DM us in Chic Chemistry. And I'm based in Las Vegas now. And my partner is based in Beverly Hills. And wherever we can, we like to hand deliver as I did to you, because
That's beautiful.
we like that real close customer
Yes.
connection.
Well, let me pull up your
Yeah,
Instagram so
let's do
people can
that while
see
we have a
it.
minute.
Let me share this. Okay. So this
So
is,
there we are at Modern Day Wife. Oh, we
yes,
got a picture right up
actually,
front.
yeah, right here we are at Modern Day Wife up there on the panel.
Yep.
Looking, yeah. And then,
Wow, that was back in March.
yes. And then, so I love this photo too, just because it's,
Yes.
it makes for such a great, it's also great for you, but it makes for such a great gift too.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
this was the packaging that it came in. I mean, it was just so lovely to just open it up, and you just felt so special. Just,
Oh,
not
thank
only
you.
did you hand deliver it to me, but the way it was presented was so lovely. I didn't want to throw anything away because I held on to everything because it's so beautiful. I love the packaging.
Thank you. Well, that's my goal is I want people to feel special. I don't want anybody to ever, I want them to feel like, you're getting like the real thing.
Mhm.
I really, that's important to me that people feel like, I don't ever want people to feel like, oh, this isn't the real thing, like when you spent, you know what I'm saying? So I
Even though it is inspired by
inspired
other
by,
scents, I do feel like you have created a special scent.
thank you.
And I can tell the difference. So
Yes.
um, I do want to point that out. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah. So the goal is to make you feel special, and I'm glad you felt that.
yeah.
So that's our goal. And
And
coming
then
up,
you
I can
want,
see our youngest customer.
oh, here.
He is just adorable. 540 is his favorite as
Oh,
well.
really?
And he is just in our DMs. He was like, he got a sample off of Innovate the Label, where they sell our samples and some other products. And so he was just in the conversation with me, and he was like, I gotta have it. And so he did an unboxing, and he's just adorable. And for Mother's Day, he bought his mother a 540 for Mother's
Oh,
Day. So
nice, nice.
yeah, so he's just
Beautiful.
great. And then Innovate the Label, you can go to innovatethelabel.com, or when you go to the link in our bio, it takes you to Innovate the Label. And this is Helen Mantilla. So she does a TikTok live every Friday night. They're based in Miami. It's from 4 to 7 p.m. our time in Pacific Standard Time. So she does that TikTok live, and they sell live. We were showcasing obviously Chic Chemistry that night, and we do something special for them in the 540 that we do not sell currently. That's
Wow.
exclusive to them for right now. It's a roller ball. Um, and we created a red glass roller ball to mimic the 540, which comes in a red bottle, if you know the 540. And it comes in a velvet pouch, so it's reusable. We don't use paper packaging. So we wanted a packaging that, you could put your jewelry in or whatever that's sustainable. with our gold seal on it. So that's the 540. So if you
Okay.
don't want to invest in the spray, our sprays are $79. They're 2 ounces, which is bigger than what you normally get as a 1.7 at any retailer. So we do give you more. It's an oil, and it's $79. You can buy the point 0.5 or the 5 ml in the just the 540 for right now.
Uh-huh. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
you can't beat those
yeah. And then
prices
we
for
do some
what
fun
you're
things.
getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then,
Yeah, and that's one of the influencers, as you mentioned, from Modern Day Wife. There's an upcoming event at the Sofitel that I'll be at on June 27th in Beverly Hills. But this was one of the previous events, and she just loved, again, also the 540, and she did a reel for us.
that's
So
lovely. So yeah, I mean, I wish I could go.
I know we're gonna
Uh,
miss you.
yeah, but yes, if you haven't been to a Modern Day Wife event yet, or you've been, you have some time and you've been to one, I think, this will be a fun one to go to. You'll get to meet Melissa there.
Yeah,
She'll
that's
have her
right.
product there. I know a lot of other great vendors are going to be there as well. But so June 27th at the Hotel Sofitel in
Yes.
Beverly Hills. It's
Yep.
right across the street from the Beverly Center.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what a great story.
Thank
And
you. Thank you for
I appreciate your presence here with us today. And like I said, it is truly an honor. And by the way, Melissa didn't tell you she's also a volunteer with Lipstick Angels, and maybe you could just tell us just a brief something about that. But I love that because we also have a charitable aspect with our business. But just tell us a little bit, just
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. That's near and dear to my heart. Lipstick Angels is an organization that supports cancer, men and women going through cancer or cancer survivors. And they have lots of branches throughout the United States. And I had the opportunity to do lots of support, especially while I was in Los Angeles. And they do lots of different types of events, in particular, look good, feel good. And so they take skincare and makeup and clean products either to some of the different hospitals. And they also have a center in Los Angeles based in Beverly Hills. And they have a center where they do seminars. And so I was one of the volunteers there at that organization, and just met the most amazing men and women that came through to learn how to take better care of their skin with clean beauty products and makeup. And let me tell you, the hearts and minds that I met were, really puts life in perspective. So look them up. They have, as I mentioned, they have lots of different locations, and especially the one in Los Angeles next to my house
Yeah.
was very special to me.
Truly heartwarming
Yep,
to hear that. You touch so many lives that way.
yep,
So,
yep. Thank you.
so thank you
You're welcome. Gosh,
for
thanks for having me and letting me share, my personal and professional story. And I look up to you being, an ER nurse, so
doctor.
important these days. And
You're a doctor
um, doctor, excuse me, ER doctor, yes, an ER
then. Sorry.
doctor, and bringing style and lifting our lives, through that, because it's a way to express, who we are.
Thank you. I just feel like it's also closing the loop because
It
making
does.
people feel physically better on the inside, but if they don't feel great about themselves on the outside, then
It's
it's
it's true. And I
yeah.
think it gives us longevity.
It does very much. It's all part of wellness. So thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Melissa. I'm
You're
sure our
welcome.
audience loved it. If you want to get a hold of one of these scents, just DM Melissa on Chic Chemistry on her Instagram. For now,
Yes.
that's how to do it.
Yep. For now,
And if they
phase
can,
two.
they'll hand deliver it. If they can't, they'll deliver it by mail.
Yes.
But yes,
We sure will.
so it's been such a pleasure, and I hope you have a beautiful day and summer. So we'll talk to
All
you all
right.
next month. Okay, Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.